Let's go to our last guest of the day. He's a Catholic convert, author, and blogger at Leaders That Follow, and founder of the Rock Association. Ricky Jones joins me. Hello, Ricky.
Hello, good morning.
Trying to decide, golfer's name, country music star's name, Ricky Jones.
Yes, I'm actually Ricky Jones Jr.
Ricky Jones? Oh, my gosh. Now it's like NASCAR. Now it's Ricky Jones. Now it's Ricky Jones Jr. here. Dale Earnhardt Jr., something like that. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
There you go.
You know, I've been learning about NASCAR lately, too. This is totally off subject, but a priest has been teaching me all about it. I've really fallen in love with it. I really enjoy it. I never thought in a million years I'd be a NASCAR fan. I bet you didn't think this is how we were going to start talking, Ricky. Our interview.
No,
today,
not at all.
No, you didn't. I threw you for a loop. All right, let's talk about, first and foremost, I love conversion stories. Yours has obviously had a pretty profound one in your life. What happened?
Well, I grew up in an agnostic family. I'm a child of divorce, so I grew up with my mother, and she really didn't have any real lived faith experience. And so when I met the woman who's now my wife, that was kind of my first taste of what faith was all about. And I saw her family, and her parents were actually still married, a big family. They would go to Mass on Sundays, and of course, trying to make a good impression, I would tag along with them. And there was one weekend where she had to work, and I decided for myself, well, I'm going to go to Mass anyway. And so I decided I'm gonna go sit in Mass, and this was actually a Spanish Mass, and back then I wasn't even fluent in Spanish. I am now. But it was, the moment for me was sitting there in the pew, didn't really know what was going on, couldn't understand what the priest was talking about, but just sitting there, having made that decision to be there, I felt God's presence. I didn't hear, a voice or feel warm and fuzzy, but I had this realization that God was real, and I wanted to know more. And so that's kind of where it all began for me. I entered RCIA and began the process from there.
So you had a realization God is real. You were sitting there at Mass, and it was the Mass that did it.
Yes.
Must have been a beautiful Mass.
Well, like I said, it wasn't even, at that point, I didn't even really know what the Mass was all about or what was going on. Half of the stuff that he was saying I couldn't even understand because it was in Spanish. But I did have that realization and it was an intimate moment. It was just crazy because, it's this huge parish, people all around me. I have no idea what's going on. But in my heart, I knew God was speaking to me. He was calling out to me.
We've had that. I've had experiences like that before to a lesser degree. And we've talked about this before, Father Andrew, beauty, right, and truth. That is one of the greatest of evangelizers there is out there, the mysterious aspect of all of this. I've done this before where I've given talks and people have come up to me afterwards. Young people have. And they said, I had no idea what you just said, but that was amazing, right? There's something about the Catholic faith when we go deep into it, or the beauty of the Catholic Church, that can change hearts, even if we're not even trying. It speaks, and your heart was spoken to on that day, Ricky.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. You have now started the Rock Association. What is that? It's kind of different. I like it.
Well, basically, how it all started was, as you mentioned, I blog at leadersthatfollow.com, and one day I got an email response from a priest in Africa, and he said, "Oh, Father Ricky, I love your writing. Thank you for all that you do." And I responded back. I was like, "Well, I'm a father, but not that kind of father." Yeah. And the conversation started there. And basically,
you scared me for a minute. I was like, "Wait a second here. Am I talking to a priest?" Okay, keep going.
All right. But he's a priest in Tanzania, which is in Eastern Africa. Everyone knows Uganda. It's basically the next door neighbor of Uganda. But Father Sweetbert Mujuni, and basically he was telling me kind of what his situation was over there. And he's a fairly new priest. I think it's been less than 10 years now. But he is a pastor of a parish called St. Lucy. And his main parish church was actually founded by missionaries back in like the 50s, I think. And but outside of that church, he's got to minister to these 10 different villages. And each of these villages have, like, some of them, they call them outstations. So it's basically like if he has to bring Jesus to the people, because these people don't have cars or motorcycles or buses or anything to get from those small villages to where he celebrates the Mass in his parish church. So he goes out to these people and celebrates the Mass for them. And some of these villages have a small building. Some have a half-finished building with maybe no roof, but it's got the walls at least. And so that's where they celebrate the Mass. And he can only make it to about 3 of those each Sunday. But there's still people pouring in who want to come into the church. He celebrated confirmations this past year, and over 300 people were confirmed. So, I mean, it's the church is growing, but he doesn't have all the help and support. He doesn't have like an associate pastor. He doesn't have catechists. He doesn't have anyone really to help him to be able to go and provide any kind of faith formation. So these people who are coming into the church who are being confirmed, they don't really get that much faith formation because he can't be there to provide it for them. And so he explained that need, and I said, well, you know, what can I do to help? And he explained that there were some religious sisters, the Daughters of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and they want to come and help to provide, you know, evangelization, catechesis, and be there to help him, to be, you know, his right hand. But they need somewhere to live, and they need a convent, and so that's where we come in. You know, well, how can we help you to raise the money to build this convent? He said, oh, well, here you go. I've got an estimate of how much it's going to cost, and 75 million Tanzanian shillings, and it sounded like this huge amount, but after we did the conversion, it comes out to only like $35,000 US. Wow. So it's not a lot of money, but that's our goal right now. We're halfway through the process. We're waiting to raise the last amount of money to put a roof on this thing.
Isn't it just
this
amazing?
Convent will allow a group of sisters to come and to help Father Sweet.
Isn't it just amazing? And the church is growing so fast in places like Africa and Asia, and they don't have the buildings, they don't have the structures to accommodate so many that want to come into the church. You just said 300 people that are confirmed, and yet you know, in some ways, we've talked before why America and Europe are mission territories now. Why many people are coming to us. We have the structures, we have the buildings, but many lie empty. And many, pews next to us don't have people here. There are people out there, which is really kind of puts the burden on us. We have to go out and get them and evangelize them. But you see, kind of the opposite effect that's happening, especially in places like Africa and Asia, where the church is just booming. It's really interesting to be able to see. And yet so many are coming here, so many priests from third world countries, because we become the mission territory now. Interesting, Ricky.
That's exactly right. And I think part of it is because here we're comfortable. We have everything that we need.
That's it. That's the number one.
There's no worry for any of that thing, right? So when you go to these places, like, these people have nothing. Yep. And so Jesus fills that void, and Jesus is the center of their lives, whereas for us, God is kind of just on the back burner, something that we fit into our lives maybe once an hour a week on Sundays.
In the Screw Tape Letters, C.S. Lewis, one of the devils writes to the other devil. Screw Tape Letters is the devil's trying to keep us, tempt us, and turn us away from God. And the most powerful line in the Screw Tape Letters, what does the devil say to the other one? He says, "Just keep him comfortable. Keep him comfortable. Keep him comfortable." That's it. Just keep him comfortable, and that's it. There's really not a lot else the devil has to do to people today except keep them comfortable, because then we don't need God. Our dependence is on our furniture. Our dependence is on the square footage of our home. Our dependence is on that vacation that's coming up. Our hope lies there rather than in Jesus, his death and resurrection. It's a distraction. It can be, and I'm just speaking to myself here, man. I mean, I'm the worst of the worst when it comes to this. And Padre Pio said he's the worst sinner that's ever walked the earth. What does that make me, Father?
Well,
yeah. Don't answer that, all right? Don't answer that.
All right.
You'll be here for a lot longer than what my show is. So how can people help you, Ricky?
Well, the way it works is if you go to our website, therockassociation.org, you can sign up for a monthly membership. That's the best way. And that way you can set up whatever amount you want to be an automatic donation every month. That's the best way, but you can also do one-time donations, and you'll see a list there of how much the different things cost. So right now we need corrugated iron sheets for the roof, and it'll tell you how much does that cost for each sheet. You could donate a sheet, you could donate all of them. We had someone donate enough to purchase an extra load of bricks when we were building the walls.
Nice.
So I mean, that's the best way, is to visit our website. we don't really have a lot of administrative fees and costs and stuff like that. So almost all the money that we get as donations goes directly to Father Suite.
Okay, so the money goes right there, and I like how you did that. You kind of rationed it out so people can donate particular things. They don't just give kind of a lump sum of money to be able to build and to be able to help people. Does this just go to Tanzania, or in general, do you have different ones set up?
We just started back in 2015, so this is our first real project, our first real campaign. So this is where we're starting, and then whatever God calls us to, maybe to move on to another place, we'll do it. But right now, all our focus is on this project in Tanzania.
It's awfully early there in Los Angeles.
Yes.
You wake up early, huh? Hey, I heard you read my book, Mission to the Family.
I did. I loved it. My wife and I, we help facilitate these marriage preparation retreats. It's called Catholic Engaged Encounter, kind of an offshoot of Marriage Encounter. And basically, we had a weekend maybe last year, and I read through the whole book in kind of in one sitting because I couldn't put it down, and it really helped open my eyes because I'm new to this whole family thing. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, so
awesome, man.
We're kind of just getting started.
You want some more?
What's that?
You want some more books?
Oh, books! I thought you meant kids.
That's what I thought.
No. Do you want some more? Do you want some more books?
I would love to. Yeah.
All right, I'll send you a box. You hang on the line, and I'll get your address after the show, and I'll send you a box. You can give them to your friends and family. Sound good?
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, you're a good man. Ricky Jones Jr., golfer, professional golfer. Ricky Jones Jr. I love that name, man. That's awesome. It just sounds like a golfer's name, just because I think it. Well, anyway, whatever. Thanks so much for coming on, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
And read Ricky's writing, friend. LeadersThatFollow.com. He blogs there.